Welcome to W.Va.NG Ed Talks, a show about navigating military education benefits with a lighthearted conversation on topics ranging from GI Bill to student loans, the freshman 15, and so much more. I'm Dr. Sherri Shafer, Education Services Officer for the West Virginia National Guard. This is the inaugural episode of Ed Talks, and to kick things off, we wanted to introduce you to our Education Services team. We're going to chat with each of them and then learn their specialty areas within the office and hear a little something about their backgrounds. With me today, I have Staff Sergeant Jason Wilson, Miss Lisa Jordan, Mrs. Valerie Lambing, Miss Denise Beniza, and Sergeant First Class Ramona Grant. Hey, everybody.
Hi.
Hey. Hello.
So just to get things started, Staff Sergeant Wilson, you're right in front of me, so I'm going to ask you this question first. What exactly do you do in the Education Services Office?
So I am the GI Bill manager for the state of West Virginia, the West Virginia Army National Guard. Do basically code changes, deal with GI Bill from everything from 1606, Chapter 30, Chapter 33, all these different GI Bills. I'm also the test control officer for the state, so any of your AFCT, which is basically the ASVAB test, just differently said because it's military, and defense language proficiency test, just all kinds of different military testing is another thing that I do for the office.
What about you, Lisa?
Hi. I do grades. I monitor the grades, and I also do recoupments.
Oh, yeah, so we don't want to talk to you very much, do we? And Valerie, what exactly do you do?
I do all things state TA, applications, invoicing, kind of work as a liaison for the students, between the students and the schools. So anything, any questions, concerns, anything that has to do with the state TA program, I'm relating.
And Denise, how about you? You're the newest member of our team.
Yes, ma'am. I'm the newest one. I'm the operations and administrative assistant too, and I assist with general inquiries, and I usually would assist Lisa and Valerie on the state side.
And Sergeant First Class Grant, how about yourself?
I am the education services specialist, and my focus is federal tuition assistance and credentialing assistance. I kind of float on the federal side overall, have an eye on what the education office does on a daily basis. Generally, you can give any one of us a call, including myself, and hopefully we can either get you pointed in the right direction so that your education career is a success.
All righty. So, Sergeant Grant, tell me a little bit about your professional and education background. What exactly do you bring to the table in terms of your own experiences? And keep it kind of short and sweet, but what do you bring to the table?
I've served in multiple branches. I have over 26 years of military experience, and I came into the Guard with a master's degree. In the past, I've been a substitute teacher as well. Between life experience and military experience, things kind of seep in and have a way of sticking. So even if I don't know the right answer, I generally have an idea of the direction that we need to look.
And so, Sergeant Wilson, what about yourself?
So it's kind of funny you say that. So earlier in the last part of 2019, before we got into 2020, obviously, and COVID and so much other craziness, I decided to go back and finish my degree with the push of Dr. Shafer. Thank her for that. No matter what timeline it takes for a soldier to get their degree, as long as they're continuing to do education-based stuff from, state TA, GI Bill, whatever, the resource may come, federal tuition assistance. That's the big key thing. But I think just understanding where people come from in the sense of like the problems and things that they're having when trying to get benefits and things of that nature. I think understanding the programs and some of the side roads that people have to go. It's not an easy travel or journey. I think that alone, plus my military experience of almost 25 years at this point, kind of helps as well. So,
And Valerie, you have recently accomplished an educational goal yourself. What about that?
Well, I just recently finished my MBA, which was kind of a lofty goal, but I was fortunate enough that my husband transferred his post 9/11 to me, which allowed me to attain my master's degree literally free of charge. I mean, I never imagined being able to get it, let alone not have to pay anything out of pocket. So it's it's not easy going back to school as an adult, and working full time and having other obligations, outside of work. But I'm definitely thrilled that I had the opportunity and was able to attain that goal.
Do you feel like that has given you a better appreciation of what our soldiers and airmen are experiencing as they're trying to manage home and family and drill and jobs and all those things and trying to juggle school in there as well?
I do. I mean, I'm not a service member or prior service, but I feel like that, and for the students that I'll kind of throw myself out here. I started my undergraduate, and then life kind of happened. I got a job somewhere and quit school, and then I went back and finished my undergrad. And then going back now to attain my master's a little later in life. I feel like I when I tell them, hey, I knew what you're going through, I feel I can relate to them better and say, hey, I get it. Working one or two jobs, having family at home, it's tough. So I feel like, I can, kind of provide a shoulder to lean on, because I feel like I've been there and, can relate to what they're going through.
Elisa, you have a little bit of a different background too. So
I do. I worked 20 years in emergency medicine. I have a degree in paramedic science that I got from Marshall. So yeah, my background is completely different than, I guess, everyone else's.
I think we're all that way. We're all different. Yeah. None of us came to this through the same pathway. But what value do you think that brings to the table in terms of your ability to work with soldiers and airmen? Obviously, from my perspective, and I don't know if the rest of the crew agrees, but it kind of gives you a little bit more of a caring edge. Makes you a little more approachable, I think.
I'd say I'm definitely approachable. Yeah.
So, Denise, you have a very, very different story in terms of everybody else. Do you want to give us just a brief background of your journey to get you to this point?
Yes, ma'am. Sure. I migrated from the Philippines. I've been living in West Virginia for a year now. Before I went here, I have a license in teaching in the Philippines. I took a degree in commerce business management with entrepreneurship as my major. I also took education units as my graduate studies. Looking forward to take masters in the near future here in West Virginia. Aside from generally assisting the department, I consider myself to be on the creative side of the team. With our social media initiative, I create marketing tools to communicate better in and out of the organization.
Fantastic. I think I hit everybody with that question, didn't I? Did I miss anybody? I don't think so. So I'm just going to throw this out there for whoever wants to jump in first. But who most influenced you in terms of your education and achieving those goals, whether it be, a long time ago or more recent for someone like Wilson and Valerie?
I'll pass. Can somebody rescue me?
Well, I think we've had this conversation in the office quite a few times about how students, soldiers, airmen, I mean, all of us have kind of as soon as you graduate high school, it's kind of the push. The first push is that they want to push you towards college. There's so much more opportunity out there for all of us. in different pathways and things that we would be better suited to do than just go straight to college. Me, I'm a perfect example of that. It's taken me, like I said, I've been in almost 25 years, and it's taken me at least 24 of that to actually get my bachelor's finished. I wasn't a constant, so I'm not saying it took me 24 straight years. I was in and out.
Changed majors a lot.
Why do I have this job? But exactly, it takes everybody a certain amount of time, and not everybody's on the same path. Life happens, keeps you from doing things. You get frustrated. You have deployments and things like that go on, keep you from going to school based on the type of deployment. I mean, it's different strokes for different folks, but I think that's the biggest thing there is just, we all kind of come from different backgrounds, and the push for people to go straight to college, I don't think sometimes is really good for soldiers. There's so much more out there, apprenticeship programs to, you can join a union and get stuff. You can go and go to a community college before you actually go to a university. You can take online classes. You can do lots of different things education-wise, get a certificate. There's lots of things out there for all of us. But
anybody else want to answer that question as to who most influenced you? I mean, in terms of myself.
I would have to say,
go ahead, Sergeant Grant. Sorry.
I was just going to say that it's something that my family has always pushed, especially my mother, to never stop learning. It doesn't really matter what you do, but to always keep learning and growing and developing.
I kind of feel like that was the push from my family as well. And I think growing up when I did, not to date myself, but, it was being a girl, being the only girl in the family, that was, sports was not something that was really pushed in my direction, but education was. And achieving that academic achievement was always at the forefront. And in fact, I can remember on my graduation day with my bachelor's, my mom said, well, you've been a poor college student for 4 years. You could just keep being poor and go get your master's. Meaning you can keep eating Roman noodles.
Nothing like the incentive of poverty.
Right. No, so what she meant is what it's like to not, to have part-time jobs, to work your way through school and just keep going. So in her way, she was saying, don't stop. Why stop here? Keep going, keep going, keep going. And so, in her own way, she was encouraging me to keep learning. And, I hope I've inspired my kids to be that way, but also I hope collectively as a group, we are working to inspire our soldiers and our airmen to do that on a daily basis as well. Anybody else want to answer that question?
I would like to add, this is Denise.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, the person who influenced me the most when it comes to learning and finishing my studies would be myself. Growing up in the Philippines, we were taught that in order for us to survive in this world and to be more competitive, we really have to finish our studies and even go further with the studies just for us to become competitive and land a good job. And I am so thankful with what I have accomplished so far, because with this kind of education background that I have, I was able to land a good job. I'm now with the National Guard. Thank you for taking me in.
Oh, you're welcome. We're glad to have you. So I'm going to ask each one of you now, what is the one thing you wish our service members knew about their education benefits? That one thing. So I see Sergeant Wilson is kind of pondering this one. Lisa, how about you take this one first?
Okay. I wish they knew that we paid for certificates, because a lot of them don't realize that we pay for certificates or associate degrees. They just think that it's a 4-year or a master's. And we also pay for masters. So,
Sergeant Wilson, have you come to an answer yet? His gears are still turning. No, we'll come back to you.
Yeah, please.
first time ever.
Well, this is Sergeant Grant.
Yes.
To be honest with you, especially on the Army side, I'm not sure about the Air Force side, but on the Army side, we're taught to use our chain of command. You go through your unit. And the problem is service member doesn't always reach us or reach us in a timely fashion, because it kind of gets stopped at a first line or unit level and doesn't make it up. And units, especially, they're taught to fix problems. Well, if you don't work in the education world, you're really not going to be able to fix problems. So our phone number, 304-561. Take your pick. Mine is 6364. Know our numbers. Call us. Because it's easier for us to know in advance and faster to react to a problem than wait, a couple weeks or a month, and then it just falls into a bigger problem.
Absolutely. Good tip. Valerie or Denise, do you guys have anything to add? If they knew one thing.
I think they need to know that we don't bite. They don't have to be afraid to call us, or when we're there, stop by. We like visitors, and I think another thing is without briefing, obviously pre-COVID, and I had a smaller group of individuals. It was an engineer unit, and I said, hey, who wants to go to college? One person in there raised their hand. And I said, oh, all right. So let's drop back and split here. Anybody in here want to be a welder? I had two guys put up their hands. Anybody interested in maybe going to beauty school? Somebody threw up their hands. I started naming off all these trades. And I said, well, guess what? We'll pay for that. Well, they were shocked. They had no idea that they could utilize that benefit for a trade school. Because the general, I feel like the kind of general consensus was, well, I'm just not I'm not cut out for college. And, maybe, that cookie cutter mold is not what you were looking for, but, let's think outside the box here. What interests you? Come in and talk to us and tell us what you like to do, what your interests are, what you want to do beyond the uniform. And we can help you, develop a plan for your educational needs to make that happen. So I think that, they need to realize, hey, you don't have to go to the, WVU, Marshall. There's a ton of other trade schools out there that, I think are making a huge comeback.
Absolutely.
Trades is huge.
So Denise or Sergeant Grant, or not Sergeant Grant, sorry, Sergeant Wilson.
Yeah. Can I go first?
Yeah,
Before
absolutely.
Sergeant Wilson, ma'am?
Sure.
So hi.
Please.
You're hearing the voice of Denise. Anyways, every department, our department or per se, follow policies and by the rules and policies. We have a pamphlet that we follow, and this pamphlet is very readily available and could be downloaded on the website. Even the students' accounts have those on their website. I think one tip would be read that pamphlet first, and everything that they're asking is readily available in that pamphlet.
Absolutely.
Okay, so I guess I'm last here. I would just say that, for most of the things I deal with, especially for GI Bill with new soldiers, one, before you start doing anything, call our office to try to check to see if there's anything that could potentially be wrong with your account. That'll save you a lot of time and myself time trying to fix the issue. And two, I'm even though I work for the National Guard and I am the GI Bill manager, the big thing with the VA, I don't work for the VA, so there's lots of things, and it's congressionally done, and laws and rules and things of that nature. So it's their program, and like I tell a lot of people when they call, it's like me saying, "Give me your bank account card and let me spend your money the way I see fit," and you would never do that. So the VA won't let me spend their money the way I want them to. So lots of answers can be found out on va.gov. That's the majority of where everybody starts anyway. But I would highly suggest that people call to, if they have an issue, or if they're not getting something, just a call, and we can try to track it down, see where it's going, find an answer for them.
And no, you're not going to be last, because I'm going to say, I'm going to borrow a quote from someone else and just say there's no time like the present. You don't have to wait, or you don't have to do a full 24 years unless you really want to, unless life, that's what you have to do. But there is no time like the present, and you're never too old to learn. So that would be what I would say, that I wish our service members knew. And so I have one final question for each of you. I'm going to go around the group and ask this. If you could give one bit of sage advice to your younger self about education, what would that be? I think Wilson's jumping in first. Hang on. Wilson's got this.
So I would definitely say look at the resources that are out there. College is not the only option that you have to actually do. I think if I would have had it to do all over again, I probably would have took a year or so off from being in high school, and, kind of like, cause, I mean, everybody's life's different. So I kind of grew up in a small town, didn't have a lot of, stuff going on in town, that kind of thing. So when you go to a bigger city in the state of West Virginia, Morgantown, it's a little bit different atmosphere there. So grade just kind of showed that when I started education, and my mind and my mentality really wasn't there for it, and it really did show my first year or so. So I think that was part of the reason why I just kind of dropped school. I just wasn't in the right mindset and time frame to actually be there. So you have to actually have that mindset and want to be there in order to do well. So if you don't have that, then it's not the right place. So that's why we try to push people towards other things, certificates and trade schools and something of that nature. I mean, there's so much stuff out there. It's ridiculous.
Options. Lisa?
I would say take it more seriously. Because when you're young, like when I was young, I did not take my education seriously. I mean, it was a mess. Like, I always got good grades, but it was like, had I applied myself, I could have been writing the prescriptions instead of, on the side of the highway picking you up.
Gotcha. Valerie? Any sage advice to your younger self?
Probably quite a few things, but really, really put some thought into it. It's super hard. I go back and think at 18, how in the world did I know what I wanted to do at 18? So, if you start out and, you start taking these classes and you realize you hate it, you can change. You may get into a program and decide that it's not for you, it's not what you thought it was. Don't just give up and drop out. Contact us, contact an advisor. Reach out and say, hey, this is definitely not what I thought. Here's what I really like to do. How can we put these credits toward that? Can I change my degree plan? So, don't give up if you get frustrated. I mean, this is, your education is a process, and I think it's, you definitely got to find something that's going to make you happy, and will be of benefit to you once you're out of uniform.
Denise?
Hi, ma'am. Just to back up what Valerie said, before, when I was a bit younger, but I'm still young now. I'm still young.
Right, I was thinking that.
I'm holding on too, Denise.
I wanted to insist on that. Well, when I was young, I really didn't know what to pursue. So, but I thought to myself that I'm already on that degree. Might as well just push it and finish it. And then after 4 years of taking that degree that I didn't really like, I pushed through education because that's really what I'm good at, which is education, which I found out late. For my younger self, I would say research and check everything first before diving into um, before diving into what you really want. And at the same time, just like what Valerie said, don't give up. Also, you have each of us have a support system. They're always there. So why not ask your parents, ask us, the education department. But yeah, do not give up.
Sergeant First Class Grant, what about you?
Don't go into debt.
Don't go into debt.
Learn what we offer. Yes, don't go into debt. Learn what we offer. A lot of people don't realize the different businesses when they work together, and you can actually finish your bachelor's and master's without debt. So know what is out there. If you're not sure, again, give us a call, send us an email. If you're a unit, ask us to come out and give a brief. That's the only way that this is going to change. So
And our contact number is 304-561-6361. That's 304-561-6361. And on that note, I want to say join us next time on W.Va.NG Ed Talks, where we discuss JST and CCAF. If you don't know what that is, you're going to have to listen to find out. W.Va.NG Ed Talks. Tune in, turn it up, and join the conversation.